Okay, so we currently do not have quorum, but we could work through the public comment and then our report from our Public Works. So we're going to be bouncing around a little bit on the agenda, hoping we have one more member show up before we could conduct business. With that, Attorney Clerk, can you please take the roll call?
See if I can remember everybody's name. Jopek. Daniel.
Here.
Holt.
Here.
Anderson.
Here.
Tom. Kelly. Okay, Carrie.
Here.
Leanne.
Here.
Other Tom. Barnett.
Okay, so just to make it clear, we do not have a quorum at this moment.
That's correct, Mr. Mayor. We do not have a quorum. Under the rules of Wisconsin Statute 66.11, you have to, 3 parent 3, close parent D, close parent, you have to have a majority of your council members, and it's a 2/3 majority for cities of our size, which means with a city of 8 members, 2/3 would be 5.23 basically, and that means it has to be 6. Some of you who've been around the council for a while know that it's got to be 6. We've done this before, so we don't have it, but that doesn't mean we can't proceed to discuss things. It just means we can't take, and this becomes an informational meeting. I would let you know that one of the things that I will tell you, since they're having a discussion up here, is on the agenda tonight there was an item regarding somebody applying for a, well, I guess you'd call an outdoor venue for serving drinks and food. That item cannot appear before this council. I removed it as legally from the agenda because that would be an item that has to go to the Plan Commission, and if the Plan Commission would turn that person down, then you have to sit as a Board of Appeals, because under the city of Rhinelander's ordinances, you are the Board of Appeals. So for someone to discuss that with you in advance would prejudice you from having to hear that matter later. So that item, which is the last item, I don't remember the letter exactly, on the new business agenda, it's the very last item.
11N.
What number?
11N is in Nancy.
Yeah, that'll be off the agenda for tonight. That will be on the Plan Commission agenda. And the city clerk is telling this individual and explaining that to her, along with the code enforcement officer, which I met with this afternoon. So give it back to you, Mayor.
Okay, so then we move on to number 3, which is the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Moving on to number 4, which is public comment, I have Tom Giroux.
Tom Giroux, City Forester. I just wanted to shout out to Jeremy Belo and his staff for starting our tree project this year. We've got about 50 trees in the ground with plans for about 75 more trees to do before fall hits. If you get a chance, go down Wabash or Arbutus or Cranberry up on the west side. Really nice trees. We bought them all locally from nurseries around town here, and this is all coming from the DNR grant, and Jeremy's been out there watering, and we've had a little bit of rainfall, so that helps a little bit, but they look really nice, and they've done a really awesome job, and I appreciate it very much.
Thank you. I believe I have a Michael Hendricks.
Hi, Mike Hendricks. I live over on Westwind Drive. I just here hoping to remind or put back in front of everyone that there was a discussion approximately a year ago about a trail connecting that area, maybe over to West Phillips, maybe along Davenport, maybe somewhere. I have, I know you're all busy. I've left 2 messages for the mayor and haven't heard back in the last 2 months. Have talked to my alderman. He said he'd get back to me, but I would just like to put that back out there. This was a long time ago, and apparently it fell in some deep, dark hole or something up in the sky, sucked it up, I don't know, but apparently it died and went away. So the other thing I'd like to mention quickly, because I know I'm on a time limit, is over where we live at the end of West Hill Road. And I do understand it's a piece of township property, but it's kind of stuck right in the middle of the city. And it looks like crap to put it, and that's being very nice, because generally we have a different name for it in the neighborhood. And I don't know, if the city can talk to the township, I don't know if there's anything that could be done, but I can't imagine that any of you would put up with that being right in your immediate neighborhood. So I'd like someone to look into that. Thank you.
Thank you. Was there anyone else for public comment? Any of the alders have anything? Okay. Moving on to mayor's comments, I do not have none at this time. Moving on to 6, which is administration report, refer to Patrick.
Simply refer you back to the report in the packet.
Any questions for Patrick on that topic? Not seeing. Number 7 doesn't apply for this meeting. Moving on to number 8, which is presentations of the Oneida Avenue and Timber Drive improvements. Referred to our Public Works Director, Randy.
So, one moment, please. I'm sorry. Let's get that clerk in gear here. I believe it's up, Austin. There we go. Starting with the Oneida project, the footpath has not changed since the last meeting. Pretty much all roads are still open. The gas utility is just about complete, though. Their subcontractor has about another week's worth of work, and they'll be out of the way. And the good news for that is that Musson Brothers is back constructing the storm sewer. We are 4 weeks behind. We do have a plan that has been started to catch back up. I anticipate, Musson Brothers is now working overtime, and I anticipate we'll be back to maybe minus 2 weeks in maybe 3 weeks, if that makes sense. But so here we're in front of the City Hall working on a water main project. That is a new water main and a valve that is going in, and some abandoned conduit. And this is Musson Brothers crew installing the storm sewer. And yeah, there's not much more I can say about that. That is always a good site for me, because once we get that's normally one of the last utilities, and then we can start working on the road, which they will be doing soon. Moving over to Timber Drive. So right now I have a full closure on Timber Drive just west of Westwood. We do have another daily closure over by the orthodontics. I forget the name of their building, I'm sorry. But that is normally buttoned back up for the evening commute. But I am directing traffic down Iverson to get to the orthodontics business, and then from West Hill they can access Timber Drive and head east to get to the apartment complexes. Here we're looking at first impressions, that's what it is, the orthodontics place there. And this crew is reestablishing or reconnecting new sanitary sewer and water. And here, this is the storm sewer crew, the sanitary sewer crew doing the main line, and they are building a new manhole here. kind of dangerous, but they've been doing this a long time, so.
Are those wells loud where pump up water?
Yeah. I mean, it's an engine or a generator type.
I'm very glad I didn't say anything inappropriate there. New project. So last year, our project was supposed to take place. It's replacing the existing water main under the Phillip Street Bridge. That was postponed to this year. This is going to be starting in 2 weeks. Musson Brothers is the prime contractor. Scott Dennis here is the project manager for that project. An interesting thing about this project, and I'm sorry to have to bring this up. The last thing in the world I wanted to do this year still was create another road closure. But when we weigh the safety concerns that Scott has for his crew and the fact that it would cost us probably an additional $15,000 to $20,000 to implement safety or traffic control, I felt that the better option is to issue a detour. But this is Phillip Street Bridge. We are going to be taking down the existing water main, which is around 50 years old or so, you think? At least. Yeah. Long time happening. I'm glad the thing's still standing up there right now. But we're going to be working on that. It's hard to see here. This is the detour route that Scott has created and I approved. The red line is going to be for commercial truck traffic. The green line is for passenger cars. The reason the truck traffic cannot follow down Davenport is because they would not clear that bridge. So Scott had to create an additional circuitous route for the trucks. I'm going to let Scott talk to you, though, about the necessity for shutting the road down. This was a hard decision. We did spend a lot of time trying to think of possibilities, but there are safety concerns. So.
Can you get back to that other picture that you just had there? There you go. If you look at the bridge, so you see where the dam gates are, and that would be like the south side of the bridge. The water main hangs on that side of the bridge and travels east to west, and it's buried in the ground on each side, actually comes out of the ground and comes up and hangs underneath. It's actually tucked up underneath the bridge. And it's tucked in there quite a ways because it has to, where the dam gates are, it has to be inside of the dam gates, otherwise it would be hanging way out in the free air. So basically, we have to kind of attack hanging that pipe, taking the old pipe off of the bridge and getting the new pipe in. FERC, which is the Federal Energy Regulation Committee, they're in charge basically of this whole area because it's a dam. They regulate all the dams are regulated on the federal level. So the delays in this project were kind of twofold. There was a delay in FERC actually approving the permit and the scope of work and how we were going to go after this job. Plus, the main delay is we were just kind of coming out of the COVID period when this job first bid, and we could not get the insulated water main in order to do this job in 2022, so that's why it got pushed off to 2023. So FERC is not allowing us to be in the water or anything, which you would normally do on a bridge job. You would put a barge out and you would work off that barge, which is actually fairly safe to do because you have a huge platform that you can work off of. They will not allow us to have anything in the water in the canal going to the paper mill. So we have to do everything from sitting on top of the bridge deck. So we will have an excavator that will sit on the bridge deck, and there'll be a basket that connects to the excavator. So you've seen plenty of excavators around town. Where the bucket normally is, that will be a basket that'll be 4 feet wide by 8 feet long. And the workers will be in that basket, and that has to get lowered over the edge of the bridge and then brought in underneath the bridge. And then we work getting the hangers on top of the bridge. So Randy and I went and we measured out the bridge and the lane width and everything, and our equipment is gonna take up almost the entirety of one lane. So by the time we put cones across that and then tried to maintain, which would be portable traffic signals, if there's like one little instance of a mistake by an inattentive driver or somebody texting while they're coming through there and they would happen to run into the side of our machine on the bridge or anything like that, we could lose all our men right into the canal. So based on just the safety aspect of it alone, we really would need to shut that bridge down just to keep all our workers safe, and I think that would help to keep the public safe at the same time. So our plan is to still maintain pedestrian traffic across there. So if the city decided not to allow us to continue traffic or to, close the bridge, then I think at that point in time we would have to entertain not allowing pedestrians to cross the bridge, because once again, if somebody's not paying attention and they hop up on the curb or something, there's somebody walking down the sidewalk, it could be a complete catastrophe. So, ma'am?
Sorry. I was wondering if when the project was bid on, was it bid thinking you were going to have a barge underneath? And will this affect your initial bid? Will this affect the cost of the project?
It was not bid with the thought that we would have to have a barge. It was bid with the thought that we would close the bridge down.
And use the bucket truck then to?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep,
Thank
that
you.
was the original plan.
Okay.
Now, if we do want to maintain one-way traffic, signaled one-way traffic across the bridge, that would alter the bid price, which we would want to, or we would ask to be compensated for that extra traffic control to maintain that lane of traffic.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
How long is it going to be closed?
We're anticipating the start date of the project on the 14th of August, and the closure would be 2 to 3 weeks.
Is it going to be closed only when you're actively working, or will you be working around the clock? Or
It would be closed for the entirety that we would be working. We would not be reopening it at night. That is a possibility. The thing about reopening it at night would be we would have to actually remove all the equipment off of the bridge and take the detour down and then reassemble everything in the morning. So from an efficiency standpoint, that would cost us probably, a good 3 hours out of every day. So that would definitely extend the time frame out that the job would, a completion date would have to be extended out probably more towards the end of September, early October.
Okay. Well, thank you first for coming out to present this. Has
You
this
bet.
been coordinated with fire and police, seeing as they're going to use a lot of the roads to get their input on it, see what needs to be done? I think that's highly important.
We are in the preliminary stage of the detour. We just had the pre-construction meeting was just last week. So Randy and I are working through the details of the detour. I have that plan. The detour route I just submitted to where Rhinelander is the company that does all of our signage and sets all of our detours up. And they are going to be getting back exactly where all the signs are so I can get that onto the plan to submit for final approval. I guess I would assume at that point in time, it would be when emergency services would be brought in.
That's fantastic. Especially with all the street projects we have going on, it's important to get them involved.
They're certainly welcome to comment at this point in time, as long as I'm here and handy to ask any questions. So,
Great. Thank you.
does emergency services have any questions of me? Okay. We have an actual window dictated by FERC as far as the completion of the job. So the actual bridge deck work, we were going to do this job. There's been all kinds of start dates tossed around. March was going to be a start date depending on what the spring turned out to be. FERC kind of nixed that. They said, no, that's coming into the high flow period of the river. So we don't, because we actually have to excavate. Oop, we lost our picture.
Oh, we're good.
On the east side of the dam, so you've got the dam gates are here. So on this side, where the roadway is there, that comes onto the bridge, that whole section there is actually considered to be part of the dam because that's the embankment. So the flow characteristics of the river came into play. So FERC's engineers determined that the months of July and August was the window of opportunity to most safely dig in the dam embankment. So, right. So, as with any road closure that we have, which Munson Brothers has numerous road closures going on in Rhinelander at the moment, but even for the emergency ones where we're fixing people's leaky water services or collapsed sewers, our normal procedure is to coordinate with the Department of Public Works and then an email, a personal phone call, normally just to the dispatch center, that we're going to have a road closed or we're going to have a partial lane closure. Sometimes time doesn't permit to actually draw a plan out and submit that because the job has to take place that afternoon or the next day. So that's how the normal procedure, as far as we try to let you guys know with as much advance warning as possible if there's going to be a road closure.
I think that's a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. The other thing I'm wondering about is if it's been coordinated with the school district as far as the busing goes, because that's going to go over the first week of school, which brings me to my second question for Randy, which is the Coolidge Timber Drive four-way going to be open by the time school starts?
The bridge portion.
So the bridge portion, I know for a fact, because I used to live on the west side, that a lot of buses go across that bridge. And so they're going to have to alter their bus routes and their bus times and pickup times and all that kind of stuff if that's not going to be open the first week of school, which is already a painful period for the school district in getting the kids to and from. So I'm just wondering if somebody's coordinating with Bowen's bus service.
That actually will be all taken care of. All that coordination will be taken care of once we have the final plan in place.
Coolidge and Timber will be open. It might not be paved entirely, but it will be accessible and there will be a through route for the bus route. And they are always part of our information plan. So, was there anything else for Scott? Then the last thing we have,
Thank you.
is last week the Parks Department is very busy installing 4 new docks at Boom Lake. They look very awesome. We can tweak these a bit, but I was down there this morning and ran into some fisher ladies that were very excited and couldn't heap enough praise on me for the Parks Department, and they were glad that these were there. These are boat slips that we've installed. I thought I had one more picture there, but there is a kayak launch there. You'll see this is on the right side of that particular ramp, and they're on a few of the different docks. So that is all I have. Are there any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And then Austin, you said we have Mr. Barnett by Zoom. So while we're waiting for that, I don't know if I could have the police chief come and talk about our ordinance. This is something your team put together for updating. So this would be number 9A, which is the first and/or second reading and action for proposed ordinance 2023-5, sexual offenders, proximity and residency restrictions.
Well, if Tom's going to be on, I would prefer to wait for him so he gets all the information. So,
Just understand, tonight's the first reading, so we'll have to bring this back again at another council meeting for the second reading, just so you're
okay.
aware of that.
Just so you know, this is from 2019. We've had this ordinance. We haven't done anything with it since. And part of our duties as the administration at the police department, between the captain and I, is to look at our current ordinances, and are they still current? Do they need to be looked at? And this is one that Captain Camilleri found that he noticed that there are a few loopholes that he just wanted to clean up to make our ordinance more effective. Again, our job is the preservation of safety for our children in our community. The first loophole is that our ordinance, our current ordinance, requires a person to be on supervision or parole as a sex offender to abide by our ordinance, or be required to abide by the proximity and the residency requirement. So somebody might be a lifelong sex offender, they get off probation and parole, they would not have to follow this ordinance. So it's a loophole that we want to correct, that it doesn't matter whether you're on probation or parole. The fact that you're on the sex offender registry, then you're required to follow our ordinance. Along with that, some people can be arrested on a crime, and the district attorney's office has the ultimate decision on how that case proceeds or goes forward through the criminal justice system. One of the techniques that the district attorney's office will use is often called a deferred prosecution agreement, where they will not make a decision on a crime and they'll leave it open for a period of time, maybe typically a year, to see if that person, that defendant, doesn't recommit or do another violation of law during that time period. At the end of it, then they would have a mutual plan to satisfy that charge. During that time period, because that person's not convicted, they wouldn't technically be required to follow our ordinance. But part of the deferred prosecution agreement would be on some crimes that they would have to immediately register for the sex offender program. That way, they would be required to follow through and follow our ordinance. So again, those are the two loopholes that we were trying to fix by bringing this in. Nothing changes when it comes to where they can live, the places they can go. We added a few places, but the distances have not changed. The map that you got was the original map that was drawn up by Town and Country back in 2019. It is the distances that are still current with the proposed ordinance changes that we have. As you can see there, there's plenty of residency room within the city for someone to be able to live in. We have a fair amount of the city that's available for housing. Any questions at this time?
Mr. Anderson?
I had question about the addition of the words recreational trail. Seems to me that needs to be defined better. If all of our streets except Lincoln are ATV trails, Menominee is a snowmobile trail, a lot of our streets are bike paths. Those sound like recreational trails to me. So if we want to limit it, we need to define that a little better, I think.
Sure, we can work on that.
Okay. I'm assuming you still need more time, Austin, or? I kind of leave it up to council. I don't know if you want to take a 5-minute recess, or do we want to go on discussing other topics and come back for voting, or what do you guys prefer?
If we don't have the full council, we really can't discuss and then take action. So,
So, how much time do you think you need, Austin?
Mr. Sorensen,
yes.
would it be possible to go into closed sessions and just discuss what needs to be discussed?
Yes, we can go into closed session because no action is taken in closed session.
I'd like to make a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute section 19.851E in order to discuss current PFAS litigation in the state of Wisconsin and its effects on the city of Rhinelander.
Hold second.
Okay. With that, clerk.
Because we only need a simple majority for that, right?
Correct.
We don't need a 2/3,
No, we don't need a 2/3 to go into,
so we can take a vote and...
right.
Okay.
Good, I get to call,
Clerk, if
yeah, clerk, you call
attorney
the
or-
names.
Zach clerk.
Thomas Barnett, Leanne Felton.
Aye.
Carrie Mikulowski,
Aye.
Tom Kelly, Gerald Anderson,
Aye.
David Holt,
Aye.
Eileen Daniel,
Aye.
Stephen Jopek.
Okay, motion passes. It is 6:40 and we're going into closed session. Okay, it is 6:57. We are back from closed session with nothing to report. Just for the record, Mr. Barnett, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, now with Mr. Barnett, I believe we do have quorum. Do you concur, Mr. Sorensen? Yes. Okay, so we do have quorum. We're moving on to 9A, which is introduction and first reading of ordinance 2023-5, sexual offenders proximity.
You don't have to go back to that. You already done that. That'll be on the agenda for the next meeting.
But we didn't vote.
You don't have to vote.
Oh, good point, yeah. Okay, so moving on to 11A, discuss and/or action approving common council meeting minutes from July 10th. Oh, Ms. Anderson?
I move approval of common council meeting minutes from July 10th, 2023.
Daniel, second.
Any discussion? Not seeing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Meaning minutes are approved. Moving on to 11B, discuss and/or action approving planning commission meeting minutes from April 4th, May 16th, and June 13th. Mr. Anderson?
I move acceptance of planning commission meeting minutes from April 4th, May 16th, and June 13th, 2023.
Hold second.
Any discussion? Not seeing. Not seeing. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes. Moving on to 11C, discuss and/or action proposed resolution 2023-60 regarding a bond. I refer to our city administrator.
Yeah, this is the Safe Drinking Water Loan Program. Basically, this is for bonding out for the street projects for the utility portions of those. I think this was set in motion late last year, if memory serves. Well, memory of reading about it.
Holt, I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2023-60, authorizing the issuance and sale of up to 1,375,580 water system revenue bonds, series 2023, and providing for other details and covenants with respect thereto.
Is there a second?
Daniel, second.
Any discussion? Not seeing. Since it's a bond, clerk, please take the roll call.
Carrie Mikulowski.
Aye.
David Holt.
Aye.
Eileen Daniel.
Aye.
Stephen Jopek. Gerald Anderson.
Aye.
Thomas Barnett.
Aye.
Leanne Felton.
Aye.
Tom Kelly.
Okay, with 5, motion passes. Moving on to D, discuss and/or action, proposed resolution 2023-61. I will refer to our city administrator.
Thank you, Mayor Hannah. This is approving the request from Downtown Rhinelander, Inc. for the waiving of fees associated with the Ridiculous Day event on August 2nd, 2023. It's pretty much all in the resolution there for you, similar to the other fee waiving that council has done.
Mr. Anderson?
Have we waived this one in the past?
That I don't know. I'd have to refer to the clerk.
No, we have not, because the fee schedule was put in effect first of the year. So this would be the first year it'd be coming around.
Holt, I will make a motion to approve proposed resolution 2023-61, approving the request from Downtown Rhinelander, Inc. for the waiving of fees associated with the Ridiculous Day event on August 2nd, 2023.
Is there a second?
Barnett, second.
Okay, any other discussion? Mr. Holt?
I can also point this out when we get to item number 14 on the agenda, but I did request last meeting that that be put on for a future agenda, that we discuss the fee schedule, and it's not there.
Yep, that
I
would be
retract my
11M. So, sorry. It took me a while, I couldn't find it either, so. Okay, any other discussion? Not seeing, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain?
Aye.
Just to be clear, Mr. Barnett, was that for abstaining, or?
No, I voted aye.
Okay, with that, motion passes. Moving on to 11E, discuss and/or action, proposed resolution 2023-62. Nope, I lied. F, moving on to F, discuss and/or action of proposed resolution 2023-63. I refer to city administrator,
You did one, E.
62. Oh, sorry, so 62, which is the duck dash, refer to our city administrator.
Similar thing, we had a request from DRI to waive the fees for the Duck Dash and the Chalk Fest on September 9th, 2023.
Mr. Holt?
I will approve resolution 2023-62, approving the request from Downtown Rhinelander, Inc. for the waiving of fees associated with the DRI Chalk Fest and Duck Dash event on September 9th, 2023.
Barnett, second.
Any discussion? Not seeing, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Abstain? Nay. Motion passes. Moving on to now 11F. Discuss and/or action proposed resolution 2023-63. I refer to our Chief of Police, Lloyd.
We started a fundraising program late last year and really put in a high gear earlier this year to replace a aging Dodge pickup truck, which was our second K-9 vehicle for K-9 Jason. Through that process, we've raised over 50 grand, and I would like to thank all those who donated in that process to outfit the squad and also purchase the squad. And actually, we were pretty lucky with, it's a disaster trying to order squads right now, and we were blessed to finally get our 2 Dodge Chargers in that we ordered over a year and a half ago. So we were, again, wondering what we're going to do to find a SUV for our dog, and luckily we have a great partnership with a dealership, Brickner's in Merrill, who happened to had ordered, there was an order placed by area law enforcement agency for the Dodge Durango, and because just as our Chargers were pushed off, the agency that ordered 3 of them declined to take the 2 because they went and bought some other vehicles, some other where. So they had these on the lot and were available, so we were able to get one at a very reasonable price. That's available. Actually, it's waiting for us for the parts to come in, and we can make that transition and get Jason a ride that's a little bit lower. The Dodge truck is higher. It's going to be wear and tear on his hip, jumping in and out of the truck. So it's a real benefit for the K-9. It's going to increase his years of service to the community. And I can't say enough about the fundraising effort on the part of those who give and gave to the project. And also the reminder that not one single penny of this account comes from any taxpayer other than through donations. It does not come from the tax rolls.
Daniel, I'll make a motion to approve proposed resolution 2023-63, approving the purchase of a 2023 Dodge Durango for the Rhinelander Police Department's K-9 unit for $30,165.50 from Brickner's Park City Incorporated.
Michalowski, second.
Any discussion? Not seeing. Clerk, please take the roll call.
Gerald Anderson,
Aye.
Stephen Jopek, Eileen Daniel,
Aye.
Gary Michalowski,
Aye.
Tom Kelly, Thomas Barnett,
Aye.
David Holt,
Aye.
Leanne Felton.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Moving on to 11G, discuss and/or action proposed resolution 2023-64. Refer to city administrator.
If it seems like you've seen this one before, it's kind of because you did it last meeting. You passed a resolution at the last meeting approving the purchase of a truck for the Parks Department. Found out that truck is not available. Jeremy went out and got Jeremy and Justin Ernst from Streets went out and got another quote. This one from Badger Chevrolet. This one is being held for us. tightly. My guess is that Jeremy will be calling about, if you approve this, about 3 minutes after this meeting to make sure we can get it. So we would like to be done with this truck for now and have it all set for parks to use. So apologize that this has to come back to you again, but sometimes that's how life works.
Daniel, I'll make a motion to approve proposed resolution 2023-64, approving the purchase of a 2023 Chevrolet Silverado 2500 HD four-wheel drive double cab work truck. That was the most rural thing I think I've ever said. For the Rhinelander Parks Department from Badger Chevrolet LLC for $62,266.
Felton, second.
Martin.
Okay, any discussion? Not seeing. Clerk, please take the roll call.
Leanne Felton. Aye. Tom Kelly. Eileen Daniel.
Aye.
Thomas Barnett.
Aye.
Gerald Anderson.
Aye.
Karen Mikulowski.
Aye.
Stephen Jopek. David Holt.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to 11H. This would be page 95 and 96 in your packet. It's proposed resolution 2023-65 for the 2024 budget timeline and process. Would entertain an action of any kind.
Daniel, I'll make a motion to approve proposed resolution 2023-65, approving the fiscal year 2024 budget timeline as submitted by the city administrator and finance director.
Is there a second?
Barnett, second.
Okay, any discussion? Mr. Anderson?
I did not feel comfortable answering for you.
Yeah, my question has to do with, since I already had plans to be gone several weeks out of this time frame, is there a possibility of participating by Zoom in this process?
I don't think it'd be a problem. Wendy, do you see it being a problem? No, I don't see a problem with it, unless we have problems with Zoom again. So that would be the only thing.
Okay, any other discussion? Not seeing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Abstain? Nay? Motion passes. Moving on to 11I, discuss and/or action on proposed resolution 2023-66. Refer to our city administrator.
Sure, and I'm going to actually refer to the expert on this, which is Wendy Bixby, who's probably thrilled that I'm asking her to come on up. But apparently every other year the city does borrowing. This was a new concept to me, so have Wendy go over it a little bit.
Okay, I'm not really sure what you would like me to explain to you, except for we have for several years in the past, before I even started working for the city, we do a borrowing of $1 million for the general fund, general departments for capital improvement. And this came about in a way to, we had levy limit restrictions and expenditure restraint restrictions to be able to keep going forward with capital improvements and equipment.
So on page 98 of your packet, it shows you kind of the proposed breakdown. I mean, all these items would have to come back to council for final approval when we get the final bids on all of them. But that's how we're looking to spend this, you know, if you give us permission. The TID 12 would be the TID for the hotel project on 17, and that was part of the development agreement.
The items that are at the bottom of the page that are not included in that million, they're separated out because the principal and interest would be paid for through the TIF for the TID 12, and then for the ambulance, it would be paid out of the ambulance fund.
Do we have a motion yet? Oh. Daniel, I'll make a motion to approve proposed resolution 2023-66, approving the 2023 capital asset biannual borrowing requests as submitted.
Hold second.
Any discussion? Mr. Anderson?
Since Jeremy's here, I was wondering about the items for hill tree trails and Sarata Field, what those consist of, and in particular the hill trees. I know you've had some trail building out there in the past. What will this accomplish?
What this will do it was an idea that we had with Zach that we were going to borrow $100,000 to show Lee Swank that we had some skin in the game for trail building. And we have another donor that's out there and is willing to match that. So it was important to us that we took that out in the borrowing and had that right away to show, knowing we had 3 years to spend that money. So that's kind of the deal. We had another $56,000, I believe, that we used to get a trail. IMBA, International Mountain Biking Association, they came and they're going to do a design for us, and we'll have that shortly, and then I can present that to council. And then with that, we can hire some professional trail builders and really start building some trail at a faster rate. We are building some trail out there as we speak this summer with a new hire for the parks, and he's been using the mini backhoe and doing a decent job at it. He's still getting used to it, but after the fair is over, the parks staff will have some more time to go out there and keep moving forward with this.
And then I could speak to the 30,000 for Rocker Field. So this was improvements on the baseball diamond out there to make it suitable for Little League and other groups to use it. That way, as Pioneer Park field possibly comes offline, there's still enough fields to meet the demand.
Should I just ask, is there any plan to do anything to improve the tennis court at Soraya, since that seems to be our only remaining tennis court right now?
That wasn't part of the 30,000, but it's true. And I mean, as these come in, these are, I don't want to say placeholders, but they're estimated pricing. So I mean, these will fluctuate as prices come in up and low for the equipment and what have you. So like the 30,000 for Soroka Field was mainly an in-house cost for Public Works and for us to do it in-house versus contracting it out. Whereas, you know, the skate park is going to be a lot more contracted out versus in-house work. Any other discussion? Not seeing. Clerk,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
Mr. Barnett?
I'd just like to answer that we had actually 14 different tennis courts in the city of Rhinelander that can be used. I don't know why that would be the only one left in the city. So just pointing that out.
Okay, thank you. Clerk, please take the roll call.
Eileen Daniel.
Aye.
David Holt.
Aye.
Tom Kelly. Stephen Jopek. Thomas Barnett.
Aye.
Gerald Anderson.
Aye.
Leanne Felton.
Aye.
Karen Mikulowski.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to 11J, discuss and/or action resolution 2023-67. So this is a holdover from years past. So we're applying for a WHAM grant, and there's been a lot of joke about the name of this grant for quite a while between administration. I guess it's also the name of a band. But so this is regarding the old Lindsay Cleaners on Stevens Street, which is now a current empty site. The DNR is asking us to apply for this to do more research to see how bad it's contaminated. Once we get that result, then we know how big the problem is to clean up or to cap or to fix. So pretty much we've been working with the DNR and our local agents to get this to you guys to start the process.
And if I may, Mayor, the DNR has been asking me, begging me to get this grant application in. They're pretty big believers in it. We have someone who works for the DNR, lives right here in town, and is a huge proponent of it. And she says, you know, this is looking very good for the city. What this allows us to do is look deep into the soil, see what contaminants are in there, and then there's a second program out there after this called Ready for Reuse. And what this does is where the state helps you out to clean up those areas, so you can get them back on the market or do whatever you'd like with them. But this WHAM grant is no cost to the city.
Well, on that, I'll make a motion to have Patrick apply for the grant.
Is there a second? Oh, there you go.
There it is. I'll second that.
Okay. Any other discussion? Not seeing. Clerk, please take the roll call.
David Holt.
Aye.
Stephen Jopek. Eileen Daniel,
Aye.
Karen Mikulowski,
Aye.
Gerald Anderson,
Aye.
Thomas Barnett,
Aye.
Tom Kelly, Leanne Felton.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to 11K, discuss and/or action resolution 2023-68. This is regarding the block party that was during public comment of our last meeting. They are asking the fee to be waived.
Daniel, I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2023-68, approving the request to waive all applicable fees for the 2023 Wisconsin Avenue Block Party private event on Saturday, August 19th, 2023.
Called second.
Any discussion? Not seeing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes to waive. Moving on to 11L. Discuss and/or action for insurance claim for Christine. I refer to our city administrator.
This was a resident who filed a claim for damages driving through the Timber Drive project. So,
Holt, I'll make a motion to deny insurance claims from Christine Linenger.
Okay, is there
Barnett, second.
Okay, any discussion? Not seeing. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those abstain? Opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to 11M. So this would be in your packet, starting on page 120. So this is the current fee schedule for the city of Rhinelander. One of the things administration is proposing is the highlighted in yellow, which would be the residential block party, 1 block or less. Only for residential zones that we add that, which would be a $25 administration fee. But it's discussion phase of how you guys would like to proceed on the topic. Mr. Anderson?
So that line in yellow is a proposed addition?
Correct.
yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Holt?
Yeah, we have, just in this meeting, approved the waiving of fees for 4 events. It seems to me that the mood of the city and the council is that that nobody seems to be very happy with this fee schedule. I do know that there are a number of people, just because of what they've told me, that were unhappy with the way that it was implemented, the way that it was sold to council, and passed. And so if we're simply going to waive fees each time a request comes up, then we need to suspend the fee schedule. If we don't want to do that, then we need to redefine the degree to which we're going to stick to having fees.
Just to be clear, you're only referring to, in the fee schedule, the special event fees,
Yes.
correct? Okay,
Yes.
just to be clear,
Yes,
because
it's
they kind of got us a
specific.
knee-jerk when you
No.
said all fee schedule.
No. Specifically, this special event fee schedule that just went into effect.
Ms. Daniel?
It's my understanding that a residential block party, the only inconvenience to the city is barricading the streets. And we already have something on here where if we're only barricading 1 to 3 blocks / intersections, it's free. So I'm trying to figure out what else a block party could possibly need from the city besides the barricading that would warrant the fees.
So the fees are based on, there was a administration fee of $100 put on all special events. So that was for, for the processing fee for the clerk contacting all the department heads, getting the information to review. So that's where the block party came in. It was a $100 processing fee. So that's why they proposed the 25, because it's a small event, easier to, to oversee. In the case of a block party, you could argue there could be concerns from police and fire, regarding if there was an emergency, how they plan accordingly, as well as the payroll and time it takes times, let's say 100 events a year of city government. So that's kind of why that was thought of at the time, put in. personally, I'm kind of second guessing that because I don't think it's best for the city, but it's this body's discretion. Mr. Anderson?
I think the fee schedule as it is now recognizes that there are some costs to the city involved in various kinds of special events. And I don't know that we've got them delineated properly on here, because some require a lot more than others. And this special fee for block parties seems like a step in the right direction of saying, okay, this is one that's pretty minimal, but we still want to know, the city still wants to know if a street is going to be blocked. And so we have to have some process, and $25 seems reasonable to me for that kind of thing. And it seems like we ought to be giving some thought to further breakdowns of which things require more and which require less effort on the part of the city. Looking at the application form that is presented in the packet, it looks like it needs some work too, as far as really informing people of what they need to do. So I'm not in favor really of blanket waiving of the fees, but to figure out what categories require more fees and what require less seems worth doing.
And then I did have
I'd like to say something.
Oh, Mr. Barnett.
So I'm in favor of getting rid of that fee schedule for special events, mainly because it was something that was just recently implemented. The city has not done that in the past. And it was a way of nickel and diming events and all the other stuff that come into the city, just like putting in fee schedules at very underused boat launches. It was just the nickel and diming thing. And that's my opinion, and that's how I see it. As far as the events, yeah, sure, we can charge these events up and down, everything for moving a cone to, doing an inspection here and there. But what you're going to get is a bunch of events that people have grown to love and actually bring in money into the city. They're not going to do it because it costs them more money to put on the event than they actually have anything come from it. So the fact that they bring in tourism, they bring in money to local businesses should be enough for us to say the fee schedule was a mistake. It was sold to us really lousily, and I don't think a lot of people understood what the fee schedule actually was going to do to all these events. So if we want to lose a bunch of events, okay, let's keep the fee schedule, and we'll have a very, very lonely town.
One of the alders requested earlier on and this is directed to you, Austin, of the special events that have come through the city this year. I mean, how many have requested to be waived versus who have just paid the fee and moved on?
So I went through and looked at every special event application that we've had. We do have a lot of prospective events that have not requested a fee to be waived, but they still have time to do so because the event's not there. But last I checked, it was 7 events so far this year have been waived. 10 events did not request any fees to be waived. So you're roughly at like a 42%-ish waiving rate right now for what we've done. And a majority of those events would have only required the special event application fee of $100. A lot of those events have also been road closures that are under the 3 roads. So then there'd be no charge for that. So a majority of these events were low dollar events that requested the amount to be waived for.
Mr. Anderson? Oh,
I think Mr. Barnett brought up a good point about how this fee schedule was adopted at the time, that And is it true that before this fee schedule went into effect, there were no charges for any of these special events?
Ish, so it depends on the event. So what I mean by ish is there's always been an event agreement with like the fair, Little League, the farmer's market. So there's been something like that, but the clerk might know more regarding the $100 fee was something new, definitely.
Correct. Yeah, there was no fee to apply for a special event originally. One of the fees we did get rid of was the amplified music fee. We did get rid of that, but again, that's not used for all different events that are proposed. Majority of event fees have been road closures and barricading fees, and those have been pretty much on the basis of how many things you rent, whether or not you bring them back and put them out yourself. But yes, the $100 fee was a new fee that started January 1st of this year that was approved last year.
The other big difference is now every one of these are coming before this body to decide on, which one could argue is transparent government. Other could argue if we're just going to waive the fee every time, it's not efficient government. So, I mean, that's another decision to weigh. Ms. Daniel?
I think there's just a perception that we're waiving every fee because the only ones that come to us are the ones that are requesting a waived fee. So I understand Mr. Holt's comment because it seems like everyone that comes to us we waive. And I would point out to Mr. Barnett, while I respect his opinion on this, it's not every event that comes into town that we're quote, nickel and diming, as he put it. We waived it for Ridiculous Day. We're waiving it for Chalk Fest. We're waiving it for, I'm going to guess, didn't we waive it on the all school or all year?
Class.
Yeah, the Hodag event. So the really big events, Project North, things like that are really bringing tourists into town, I don't think, they're feeling a pinch, as it were, from the fee, or they're requesting it be waived if they feel that they would be pinched. So I think this is perfectly reasonable. I still think the block party thing, I don't, since again, like I said, all we really have to do is block off the intersections, and they would come and ask us to do that anyway, so we would be aware of it. I don't know that they need a fee, but that's just me.
So maybe keeping the line item, but just a fee of $0? Because that was part of, I think, our problem is we didn't classify block party as a type of event, where having that classification will help clear that up.
I think what we could do is under the 1 to 3 blocks / intersections, just put a parenthetical after that says this includes residential block parties. Because you're only going to block off each side of the street. That's 2 barricades. That falls into the 1 to 3 blocks / intersections. And there you got it.
I'd like to say something.
Mr. Barnett?
So I don't mean that by waiving the fees, we're nickel and diming them. What I said was if we were implementing those fees, that would be nickel and diming them. I think what a lot of people don't realize is that, okay, some events didn't blink at the $100, and that's fine, but most non-for-profits that put on events in this city that bring in people to the city can't even afford the $100. Most of the time they're losing money, but they're bringing in money for good things like Frederick Place and all those other things. I spoke to all the non-for-profits people. I spoke to all the people in charge of the non-for-profits, and they all said that if they get milked on the fees to put on events, they're not going to do them. So now we're taking money away from the stuff that the money goes to, that they do raise in donations. So there is a trickle-down effect that's going to hurt the city. So I'm just saying, really think about this stuff before we start keeping this fee schedule, because I'm telling you, it's going to hurt people, and people are going to stop doing what they do in the city that make it so great.
Mr. Anderson?
Just one more question about the barricades. Apparently we offer people the option of coming and picking them up and whatever else goes along with that, and putting them up themselves or having the city put them up. And I'm just curious how many people choose the option of doing it themselves, and is there really any difference in cost to the city which way they go?
Well, definitely from a cost point of view, yes, because if we're sending one or two employees out to collect them and drop them off, it's not a hard cost, but it is a cost. I don't know if, Austin, if you have that data or...
Well, usually they work directly with either Streets or Public Works with that. But I do know the events that we've had so far this year that would require roads to be closed were major events like the 4th of July parade, and are going to be major events like the all-class reunion, where they have that option of doing so, but they also might be coordinating with Public Works as well as the police department with blocking off the roads with the large vehicles.
Ms. Michalowski?
So, just to be clear, are we looking at the entire fee schedule or just the special event application fee of the $100? Because it seems to me like it's the application fee that's really hanging everybody up. And if that's the case, then either we decide to keep that line item or we don't, or we reduce it. I don't think that the issue is with the entire fee structure. I think it's just that one line item, but maybe I'm wrong.
No, it's the fee structure. If non-for-profits and all that had to pay $100 and that was it, it probably wouldn't be as big of a deal. But for things that are costing them $500, whatever it is, I have no idea. Yeah, that's going to hurt them. That's going to hurt them a lot. And like I said, I just want us to be careful because things are going to stop happening in town, and a lot of good events are going to go away, and it's going to be really, really bad.
What I think Mr. Barnett's referring to is if they close down more than 3 intersections, need a ton of barricades, renting a pavilion, renting a park, those additional fees for those types of events, as well as possibly if we need to have police protection due to the size of the event too. So I at least that's what I got for you, Mr. Barnett. It's not the $100. It's more those other add-ons if they need those additional services.
Correct.
So at this point, it's kind of more we're looking for direction of what you want us to prepare or do, for...
I'm not sure what kind of motion it would be, but I'd like to revisit the entire fee schedule.
Daniel will make a motion to table the Rhinelander schedule of fees until the second meeting in September.
Hold second.
So just to clarify, was that the whole fee schedule, or just the special events parts?
Well, apparently Mr. Barnett would like to go over the entire fee schedule, so I say we go over the fee schedule.
Okay, and then the only other question I have would be for our attorney. So my understanding, this was passed during this elected body, so how much can we actually change in this cycle?
Yeah, you can amend the schedule. If you're going to junk the whole thing, you're going to have to wait till another session of the city council, which would be
Next
April.
But dollar amounts,
Yeah, I
line
mean,
items could be adjusted.
you could effectively just pretty much gut it if you wanted to. I think you're going to keep a lot of the things. I mean, you're going to keep things like conditional use, annexation. I don't think you're talking about those things. You're just talking about special events that pepper themselves through here. You can do that in your September meeting without a problem, legally.
Okay. Let's address it when we get to the second meeting in September.
Ms. Michalowski?
I would just like to make the suggestion to have the alderpersons go through this fee schedule and make the changes that they think would work and submit that to the administrator for compilation of it. And then we can go over that at the September meeting.
Okay, so there's a motion second. Any other discussion? Not seeing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes to table. 11N has been removed. 12 we have completed. Any other future agenda item requests? Mr. Holt?
Yes, I would like to begin a process of the city reaching out to the executive director of or the project director of Habitat for Humanity. I believe that's Dave Havel. Havel, to open up a discussion of a more formal relationship between Habitat for Humanity and the city of Rhinelander. My last discussion with him left me with the sense that they have money to buy city lots if they are available. And rather than that simply be sort of on the lines of personal relationships or handshake deals, I'd like to have administration meet with him and meet with them to sort of get a more routinized plan in place, because I think that moving forward, that is a long-term alleviation of our housing issue, that they are currently building houses in the city, and we should find ways to help them be more efficient about it.
Okay. Anything else for future agenda items? Okay, with that, it is 7:39, meeting adjourned.